we're gonna copper foil this piece right here in this kite. So I like to start my copper foil about 1/4 of an inch beyond where I'm gonna stop. And then I like to look at it this way. I like to look straight down on it where I can use my fingers. And I try not to touch these edges. You don't really want to touch these edges because the oil from your hand will get on the edges. And what happens when you do that is that, again, the foil won't stick because it doesn't stick to oil. So I like to drag my fingers up and I like to turn the glass all at the same time. And when I do my overlap here, I just take a small pair of scissors and we're going to clip it, let it extends out beyond that corner just a little tiny bit, and then we'll flip that over and we'll make sure that we put that down. Now I just take the edges of my fingers and help get this bent over first around the edge of the glass before I do any kind of burnishing or anything. And you want to make sure now that you're getting ready to burnish your glass that when you're burnishing it, you pull it towards you. Like that. On both sides, you want to do both sides. And I always make sure that I take the edge of my fid here and I burnish it on the edge. What this does is it heats the glue up on your copper foil, also flattens it out nice, doesn't give you any little wrinkles or anything. But then take and make sure, okay, that you pull it to you. And I always keep an X-Acto knife on my bench when I'm copper foiling, simply for this little reason right here. That little reason, I'm going to point on it, and we're just going to take that, and we're getting rid of it, okay? Because we don't need that in there. Anywhere copper foil goes, the solder is going to stick to it, and you want this to look really nice, so we don't need that copper foil. Now I've got my soldering iron adjusted just right. And that temperature, as I proved to myself the other night with a really nice thermocouple, was 510 degrees. And I've got it set on the same thing, the same process, same iron. And I'm just going to clean my tip a little bit. It's going to give us, see the gold coming up on that? That just tells me it's the perfect temperature, everybody. So let's do this. So our first way to teach you how to solder is what I call the touch and go. Now, when I teach classes in person, this is the method that I use to start somebody out learning how to solder. So the first thing we're going to do is shake off our flux, and we're going to go from the top to the bottom on our kite. And the touch and go is 1, 2, straight up, 1, 2, just like that. You just touch the end of your soldering iron. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And if you notice, when the solder hits the soldering tip, it kind of rolls back behind it, which helps beat it up. So here we go. We're going to repeat this touch and go soldering. And this is a surefire way if you're just starting out doing stained glass, or if maybe you've been doing it for a while and still have trouble beating up. The one reason you may have trouble beating your solder up is you might be working too hot. And we'll reference back to our wattage controller, iron controller, for that reason. So here we go. We're just going to flux it a little bit. And now we're going to do our touch and go, starting over here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now remember, when you come to this junction here, that's a cross, y'all, and it needs to look like one. So then to clean up your touch and go, you just on top, straight up, on top, straight up, just like that. And you know what happens? It beads up and it looks really nice. Let's start over here on this side, and we're going to 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Everybody, we're going to take a moment and we're going to tin around the outside edges. And you can see it. It's nice and round right there on the top that I've done. So let's go ahead. We'll take it out, flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing all the way around. And this is going to give that copper foil quite a bit of rigidity, and it just makes it look so much more professional when you finish the edges. Don't do everything else real nice and then not finish the edges of your, even if it's a sun catcher. Finish the edges, and in a moment, we're gonna talk about how to clean this up correctly, okay? I'll get this rinsed off and we'll come back and I'll show you how the patina works. So we've washed it with water and baking soda, rinsed it off, and now I'm gonna show you what happens when this is clean. Now, I like to use a brush. I'll get this rinsed off and we'll come back and I'll show you how the patina works. So now we're just gonna talk a little bit about patina. Now they make a copper patina, they make a black patina, they make a patina for zinc. However, it doesn't matter which patina you use if your glass isn't clean. We just got through cleaning this leaf with our baking soda and a damp cloth. It was almost like a paste what I had, but man, you should feel this once you get this clean. Now, because we've done it with the baking soda and there is no acid residue whatsoever, because baking soda, like Tums, reduces acid. So here we go. We are gonna take this, we're gonna shake up. We've got our regular, our Novocan black patina, and I'm gonna use a brush rather than a rag. I feel more comfortable putting this on with a brush, and I want you to see, because we cleaned this with our baking soda, I want you to look at the color of the, oh my gosh, y'all, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Look how beautiful this is. And this is a one-shot deal. It's not going to get any darker than it is right now. But I want to flip this over. And we're going to go ahead and do this side as well. It's all beautiful. Don't need to let it sit for 20 minutes. You don't need to do anything but enjoy it. So just one more little dip.